Hello, what's up, and what's happening? Welcome back for yet another Miles Dawkins 24/7 production, and today we got a different type of video. It's just a discussion video. If you know me, you're one of my close friends, like living from 510, you know that I love to debate, especially about sports, but more importantly, especially about the sport that I love, really the only sport that I really care about, and that's football. So I was watching this video last night, as I'm doing this. Y'all gonna hear it on Saturday. I was watching this video on Friday, and the video will be in the description below. It was top 25 running backs from the Super Bowl era, and they had Walter Payton was number 1, Eric Dickerson was number 2, and then Barry Sanders was number 3. Emmitt Smith, he was number 10. That's not the problem, because I do believe that Barry Sanders is better than Emmitt Smith, even though Emmitt Smith is the all-time leading rusher, and you cannot debate that. He is. One thing that is debatable, and one thing that Elliott Harris, he was talking about, which really kind of got under my skin, because it's like, I see where you're coming from, but I disagree with you wholeheartedly. One of the things he was saying, that people feel sorry for Barry Sanders because he did not play with a guy like Troy Aikman at quarterback and never had a true number 1 receiver like Michael Irvin. And then again, he was saying that with the Detroit Lions, they like to spread the field out. It was like a gun or run and gun offense, excuse me. It was a run and gun offense. So you spread the field out. I don't care if you spread the field out. If you don't have no weapons, you're still gonna stack the box. It's not like too many people were double teaming Herman Moore. Okay, and when you don't have a quarterback, the quarterbacks he played with Scott Mitchell, he played with Charlie Batch, he played with like Kramer and all these other and Ronnie Peake. He played with quarterbacks that wasn't nothing. So really, how afraid were you of these guys lighting up the skies because they were spreading the offense out? Not too much. So he was saying that a guy like Walter Payton had it way harder than Barry Sanders. Now, maybe that's true. Maybe that is true. But the one time that I remember Walter Payton in the playoffs doing work was with the 85 Bears. Now, this is not to disrespect Walter Payton. I sincerely do not know. But not too many people talk about Walter Payton putting that team on his back and doing work, because everybody talks about, excuse me as I hit my microphone, everybody talks about the 85 Bears, and we all know that defense was phenomenal. What I know about the Detroit Lions defense in the 90s was not phenomenal. How many Pro Bowlers did they have off that defense the whole time Barry Sanders was there? How many All-Pro selections do they have from the defense side of the ball? I would say none. Zero. Zilch. Nada. On the offensive side of the ball, outside of Herman Moore, who was a decent receiver, we think about receivers in the 90s, he might be top 10. That might be a stretch. He might be top 10 receiver in the 90s, but he wasn't lighting nothing up. He wasn't doing anything. He did not force you to double team him. So to say that Barry Sanders, would have been better with the offensive line that Emmitt Smith played with, that is a true statement. He was saying, Elliott Harris, he was saying, no, that's not right. That's crazy. No, Emmitt Smith, he knew how to just get 3 yards. He always fell forward. Barry Sanders ain't never fall forward. He's always losing yards and this and that. His playoffs, yes, if you look at the Detroit Lions playoff history, he was bad in the playoffs. Barry Sanders was bad in the playoffs. There's no two ways to push it. He was bad in the playoffs. However, I remember watching NFL Network, and I remember Rod Woodson was shocked about how many times the Lions were in the playoffs in the early 90s. So that should just be credit to Barry Sanders, because again, Barry Sanders put the team on his back and got him to the playoffs time and time again. That's fact. Now, for Walter Payton, he got his ring with the 85 Bears, but how much work did he do? And he did work. He did work. He is number 1 on the list, and he's top 3 in my list, however you want to put it. He is one of the greatest running backs of all time, not trying to disrespect. However, did his success lead to team success as far as getting to the playoffs before the 85 Bears? That's my only question, because to me, I really don't know. I don't remember, Walter Payton, carrying his team to the playoffs and having success in the playoffs before like the 85 Bears season. That's my only question. That's the only thing. Before that defense got Mike Singletary and Richard Dent and all that other stuff, how good was Walter Payton at just carrying his team and dragging them to the playoffs like Barry Sanders did? Now again, when we look at Emmitt Smith and we look at Barry Sanders, of course, Barry Sanders' highlight tape is phenomenal. It's ridiculous. Probably the best highlight tape of any NFL player in NFL history. However, Emmitt Smith, he has a pretty good highlight tape too. One thing that I will say, and I must admit this, even though I am a Barry Sanders supporter when it comes to who's the best running back, Emmitt Smith is underrated when it comes to making people miss. when it comes to catching the football out of the backfield, when it comes to just breaking tackles and getting away from defenders, he is underrated. However, if you look at his highlight tape, you tell me how big those holes are. Just tell me how big those holes are. And to me, it's the craziest thing in the world to say, if Barry Sanders had those same holes that Emmitt Smith was running through, that he couldn't just hit it and go. He couldn't just hit it and go, as my phone goes off. I apologize. At the end of the day, though, you gonna sit here and tell me that Barry Sanders, when there was a gaping hole, was still dancing around the backfield? No, he danced because he had to. He wasn't dancing because he was trying to be a showman. He wasn't dancing because that was just in his DNA. He was dancing in the backfield because he had to. You look at Barry Sanders' highlight tape and you tell me how many times he had to make people miss in the backfield and then boom, take it up the sideline for 80, or take it up the middle of the field for 60, or this and that. Again, for as great as Emmitt Smith's O-line was, he ain't never rushed for no 2,000 yards, and they were giving the ball to Emmitt Smith. They were just feeding him 25, 30 carries a game. He ain't reached no 2,000 yards. Barry Sanders did, and we can't name not one of his offensive linemen. Ain't none of his offensive linemen in the Hall of Fame. Ain't none of them are really all pros or anything like that. They were garbage. They were trash. So the only thing that I'm saying, for as great as the offensive linemen or the offensive linemen were in Dallas, you put that same offensive line in Barry Sanders, he rushing for like 2,500 yards in the season, just like he did in college. Look up his Oklahoma State highlight film, and you tell me how many times he's dancing in the backfield. Barry Sanders was hitting holes in college. Do you know why? Because his college offensive linemen were able to open up holes for him to run through. That is all I am saying. Again, Barry Sanders had a great offensive line, and again, nobody from like the year that Emmitt Smith got drafted back in 89, 90 to the time that offensive lineman started to get dismantled due to injuries and people getting old and people playing for other teams, nobody from that offensive line is in the Hall of Fame. So people are thinking, and this dude, Elliot Harris, he was saying, nobody, like, what happened to the Cowboys? They should have won more, Super Bowls and stuff like that. And Nate Newton, he was on there talking about they got old. Whatever, you can say that. But Emmitt Smith ran behind, from 1994 all the way to 2003, he ran behind Larry Allen. Larry Allen, in my opinion, is the greatest left guard, excuse me. He's the greatest left guard that I've seen play. Now, there might be some greater ones out there before him, but in the 90s, Larry Allen was that dude. Larry Allen is sitting up there in the Hall of Fame. Nobody who played with Barry Sanders in the 90s is sitting up there in the Hall of Fame. Bottom line. So, again, I respect what Walter Payton did, I really do. I respect what Eric Dixon did, I really do. I respect what Emmitt Smith did, I really do. But to sit here and say, oh, Barry Sanders lost too many yards for me, he should have been 3 yards and clouded this. He was getting hit in the backfield. What you want him to do? I mean, seriously, what do you want Barry Sanders to do? Just to take it? Just to get hit in the knees and in the face and all this? No, I'm a dance too. And when he was dancing, he's still what? Third all-time leading rusher in NFL history. Third all-time, and he's the #1 in lost yardage. And it's not because of Barry Sanders. It's because he did not play with anybody. I'm telling y'all. You go check out that college highlight tape where he rushed for 2,500, where he rushed for 2,500 plus yards in a season. Oh my gosh, he was running through holes. He was running through holes because holes were there. You watch his highlight tape even in the pros. When the holes were there, he would hit them. Whenever he was dancing in the backfield, it's because there was no holes there, baby. So all I'm saying is, let's not just, discredit the fact that what a lot of people say is true. You put that same offensive lineman, you get Barry Sanders, a Troy Aikman where you can't put 8 in the box or 7 in the box and stuff like that. You give him that scenario. You give him Larry Allen and that great offensive line. Barry Sanders would have been rushing all up and down the NFL, and he really didn't have nothing there. So again, I no disrespect to whoever made that list. I respect that list. I actually agree with most of the people on that list and stuff like that, but Barry Sanders was a bad dude. And another thing, they try to compare Barry Sanders to Terrell Davis, because Terrell Davis, averaged 141 yards in the playoffs. That's all well and good, but he was playing with the old John Elway. So you really wasn't throwing the ball that much with John Elway, okay? So that's all I'm going to say. And again, I love me some Terrell Davis. But Barry Sanders, he's that dude to me. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Again, that video that I was watching is down there in the description below. So go check that out if you want to. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, I enjoyed bringing it to you. Hope that the rest of your day is the best of your day. And I'm going to see y'all later. Peace.